Hey, everybody, welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League, the podcast that prefers American cookies to British biscuits. Sorry, everyone. I'm your host and commissioner, Mike Cablon. With me are my co-hosts, Sierra Kato and Ifi Wadiway. I didn't run that by you guys. Do you prefer an American cookie to a British biscuit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, because I think the word in itself makes more sense. Cookie. Tasty.
You cook it.
Yeah, you cook it. Biscuit, it's like, no, I don't jibe with it.
I had the Subway footlong cookie last night for the first time. I'd never had one. It's terrifying. It's a lot of cookie. In your head, you're like, a foot. I can handle a foot.
Yeah.
And then they hand it to you. It's like I saw her take it out of the fridge, put it in their little Subway microwave, and then you just get like a hot tray of cookie, and it's like, it's a lot of cookie.
Man.
I couldn't get through it. Delicious.
Yeah. I think it is wild how good Subway's cookies are.
Yeah.
And I think we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah. It's like they're beating Mrs. Fields at their own game.
Yeah.
And they're not even trying. That's not their main product.
Yeah.
Wow.
They should pivot.
Yeah. I don't know if their sandwiches are doing so hot.
Yeah.
Well, I one of my favorite memes that I just saw recently was like, I hate when people say they don't like Subway. It's like, you made the sandwich.
Take it up with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they should pull a, like Dunkin' Donuts, switch to being like, we're just called Dunkin' because we're mostly a coffee place now.
Oh, yeah. Like Jamba.
Yeah.
Jamba's not just juice anymore.
Did Jamba offer other products?
I think so. I think they probably, my guess is there's some sort of like acai bowl.
Oh, sure, that
or
checks
like,
out.
They might have a little sandwich.
Yeah.
Maybe
little
one
lunch
or
offering.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
makes
not
sense.
just juice.
Yeah, so Subway, pivot to the cookies, man. Lean in.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, this is an exciting week because Jeff is back. Oh, wait, sorry. No, I just checked my notes. He's out. He's
Yeah,
gone again.
Oh,
yeah.
He's
Jeff.
out. Yeah, Jeff.
I mean, I felt really bad, You can't. I feel like he was not looking great, and the
he
fact
really
that
wasn't.
like what you must feel to just walk off,
Yeah.
like must be really bad. Because I feel like you have, stage health or like adrenaline
Yes.
pumping that could make you,
Yeah.
you
can
even
power
a flu.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might have a temperature, but you're like, I'm okay, and then afterward is when you collapse.
Yeah.
But the ability, like to check in and be like, whoa, I feel so bad that I'm just gonna walk into
out.
the sunset.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing where I was like, I feel like maybe the producers are like, if you can't compete this week, we just can't have you on the show. Because to walk out forever, I'm like, I would understand if he's like, I'm sick for another week. Or like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to compete in the competition, but I know I can't win the grand prize or whatever. Something like that. But the fact that he was just like,
Please
Goodbye
leave me
forever.
Yeah.
alone.
This is it.
yeah.
I'm done here.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to go into the woods and just bury himself in the dirt.
Yeah, slowly. Yeah, and you said sometimes you collapse after. Well, also sometimes other people collapse after.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
what is going
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the tent?
As soon as Dylan fell out of his stool, Laura turned to me and she went, I think there's a gas leak in the tent.
Yeah.
That's so funny, yeah. That's what it seems like. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Many people, dropping
Yeah.
like flies, like they said.
Yeah.
Man.
And not that I thought Jeff would get far in the competition, but I was like, not like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to see him go out because he made something bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I didn't even want him to make something bad. I was just like looking at his bio. It didn't look like he was going to do great.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Simpsons meme with like Grandpa walking in, like taking
Yeah,
off his
walking
hat, doing
out.
a circle, picking up his hat, walking out.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or like, do you remember the John Ralphio bit from Parks and Rec where he walks in starting a job and then he gets fired and walks right back out without breaking stride?
Yeah.
It's a tag at the end of an episode. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's so perfectly executed. Anyway, okay. Oh, okay. Val, we might have to cut this part because Val put in her notes we should talk about this off air before we talk about it on air, whether or not we should talk about it. Should we talk about John getting fired before getting on the show? Val,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Val, is there like a legal concern here, or do you just think that it's like in poor taste if we talk about it?
I mean, I don't think there's a legal concern. I just don't know like how much of a I don't know how big of a deal it is,
Sure.
Yeah.
'Cause, like on one hand it seems kind of bad. On the other hand, it was in the Sun, so
Sure.
you know.
That's true.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
been,
And we
sued
can
many
we
times
can
over.
cover all that. And it said so he was stealing money from the bank.
He was like embezzling
Yeah.
or
something,
Yes. Yeah. He
yeah.
worked at the bank, and there was a mechanism. I'm trying to like skim the article and summarize at the same time. There's like a mechanism by which you could like pay back your customers something, and he was using that to pay himself and it just said thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
But it also said the police were not involved, which is why it didn't come up in a background check. So I'm like, well, it couldn't have been that much money.
Yeah, it couldn't have been that much
Not that I'm
money.
excusing him stealing money, but it's
look,
like, hold on.
look, I'll excuse him stealing money from the bank. Fuck the bank.
That's true.
I mean, listen, it's be gay, do crimes until someone is gay and does crimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He
you
did what we asked him to. Be gay, do crime.
Yeah.
Especially against capitalistic systems.
Yeah. Kind of the, do they really
Like,
need that money?
Yeah, like if he was stealing from the people, I'd be like, oh, but no. I'm like, you're taking it from the bank. Good
Right.
job. This would if this is look. Get Martin Scorsese, get Leonardo DiCaprio. All of a sudden, everyone thinks it's cool.
Yeah. Who's gonna play John?
Yeah.
Okay, I just did a quick Google search. I found a Reddit thread from 5 days ago where we talked about it. The Reddit thread only has 22 comments, so I don't
Yeah.
think people care.
aren't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's kind of a good. It's
Sell
kind of a
me
badass
this
thing.
biscuit.
It's like, oh, I took down the bank.
Yeah.
And then he was punished for it. He was let go, and then
Sure.
or fired.
Right. Yeah.
Sacked.
Yeah.
Sorry, in all caps. And so then I think, from as far as fans of the Great British Baking Show, I think we say pretty cool.
Yeah. Because I think it's like everyone's like, I've been fired for taking a couple dollars from the till. We all have.
Relatable stuff.
We all worked at a stupid job. It's not like he was
yeah.
working at a charity.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
sure.
Like I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, like you said, it's a fucking bank. Anyway, we're encouraging you to do crime.
Yes.
Okay, we've talked about that. I want to do some follow-up from last week. We had a couple people write in about this, because last week we talked about Jeff listening to his cake.
Oh yeah.
Apparently that's a thing. So Jill, or Jenny, or Jen X, I couldn't tell from the signature. Anyway, wrote in and said, I just wanted to say that Jeff listening to his cake is a technique learned from Season 3 winner John. I use this all the time. As the cake finishes up, fewer bubbly noises are made. I also use a temperature gauge, but you don't want to make a lot of holes. Amber also wrote in with a similar sentiment. So people listen to their cakes. This is something I did not know.
Wow.
You learn something new every day.
So now we know.
now we
Make a
know.
Cake. Put an air. Speaking of cake news, have y'all seen the NYC Cake Gate?
No,
No?
please.
It was the TikTok about the guy who baked a cake for his friend's birthday, and it was like a very gorgeous, like multi-layer high cake.
Okay.
And he took it to the restaurant. He was like, "Hey, I want to bring it. Can I cut it?"
Oh.
And they were like, "No, we'll take it to the back and cut it."
Oh, no.
And they got these like tiny sliver slices back. And then at the end, he was like, "Okay, well, can I get the rest of the cake back?" And they were like, "That was all of the cake." And he goes, "There's
it
no
wasn't.
way."
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And so he's like showing the size, and like since then, the restaurant has came. It was like we looked at the security footage, and they forgot to just give you the other half. And
What?
But like it is believed that they ate that
For
cake
sure.
Oh my god.
1000%.
So funny.
Yeah.
This has actually happened on, I talk about this all the time, Below Deck. Because guests will come on and they'll bring a cake, and then they're like, great, everyone got a slice, and they'll take the rest of the cake, like a single small cake, to the kitchen, and then all the staff will just be like, well, we're going to eat this cake. And then someone will be like, can I get a second slice of cake? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
Yeah.
The chef put it away for the night. Sorry, we can't do that.
Which is like nuts too, because you pay like almost this corkage fee to bring your own
Yeah,
cake.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no, slice the cake and bring the rest of my fucking cake out.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
and I feel like that this cake gate might change the vibe for that now too. Where it's
Yeah.
like, no, don't keep the cake back there. Bring
Yeah,
the cake
yeah,
back
yeah,
out.
I
You can
I
bring a
never
knife out
wanna,
here.
Yeah, bring the knife.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, slice it out here.
Yeah.
Don't let me take my
Bring
eyes off
me a
that
knife.
cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring me a knife.
Yeah.
I do feel like one time I did, like it's like when you get a bottle of wine or whatever and they leave it out there, then they just like pour it for you, fancy stuff. But
Yeah.
then one time I think we went someplace and they were like, okay, here's your wine. Like we have to put it in the back or something, because I think it was like an outdoor eating situation.
Oh, okay.
So then it was like brought out to pour every
But you
so
ordered
often.
the bottle.
Yeah, so then it was kind of
I
like,
don't
well,
trust that,
yeah,
no.
exactly. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
is it done or are we?
Yeah.
You can't keep your eyes off of that unit.
Exactly. So yeah, be careful out there, cake bringers.
Yeah. Thank you for that New York cake news.
Yeah.
This is the New York Cake Minute with
Yeah,
it.
that was the
Yeah,
cake
yeah.
heat.
Okay, more follow-up. At Rhymes with Pikachu asked a question. In the last episode, there's a shot of Jeff opening the freezer for Nellie and asked if that counts as helping another baker. I think there's an important point of clarification. To me, the spirit of the rule is like someone is, we're going to see it in this episode, like someone's out of time, someone comes over and like physically helps
How
them.
can I help you?
If
Yeah.
it's like, I'm opening the freezer door for you, that's like opening a door for
Yeah, yeah,
someone.
that's
It's-
just
you're
being
not really
polite.
helping.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
more being polite than helping. So I'm going to say that's no there. But that being said, if you're doing this league at home, defer to your commissioner. Do whatever you want. We don't care. Well, I can tell you what I think, but
Yeah.
do whatever you want at home. Anyway, okay. I think that's all the follow-up. Let's talk about Biscuit Week.
Yeah.
Our signature challenge is to do Viennese biscuit sandwiches. I think we got to talk about Jeff right away because it's the only thing he did in this episode.
Yeah.
So Jeff does the "What's the matter? Are you not feeling well?" Viennese biscuits, because they talk about how, like, in America, if you drink tea, people are like, "What's wrong with you?" Because Americans drink
Oh my
coffee.
gosh, yeah.
Or as he says, coffee.
Coffee.
He really did not let go of like that Bronx pronunciation of coffee.
Yeah.
During the cook, I was like, he's still sick.
Yeah.
Very much just moving
Yeah.
to the kitchen. He's like, he said, I'm nearly done, but then I'm going to find a bed and go to sleep. And I'm like, don't let this man in a kitchen.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
because also do we have any clarity on the sickness? Is it just
No.
sick?
No, just vague sick.
Could have been anything.
Yeah, exactly. Could have been something that you should probably be 6 feet away from
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's some ventilation,
Yeah,
hopefully,
yeah.
in that
Yeah.
tent.
Oh,
But
man.
Yeah,
Yikes.
not the kind of sickness you want around food service.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Give my
bake
chef.
it into the biscuits.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't want that.
Oh,
Anyway,
while we're on the episode, something Em was curious about,
Okay.
and we got the deets on. If you really loved Noah's sweater this episode, that was from it was a Wawa and the Raincoats collab.
Wow.
And it cost $187.14, but it is in fact sold out.
Oh.
Yeah.
was
striking.
this something that M knew cold, or was it like
no,
you guys
no,
had
Em,
to Google
Em
it?
really liked it, and so
Yeah.
she looked it up and found the info for it.
Wow.
That's very precious information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, because the sweaters are always serving, and I think this one
Mm-hmm.
in particular, I think because you could only see like the little top portion, it was like
Mhm.
little red-cheeked kids or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very cute.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of
Yeah, that's
little
a good one.
children.
Cute.
Yeah, big fan of
Yeah.
that sweater. In general, all the fashion choices, I love that. It's like MasterChef in that like all of the hosts and presenters and judges have like sort of a uniform.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
the fact that Noel always gets like wacky sweater, I'm like, oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I believe they have a collab specifically with Noah in here. That's his painting of David.
Do you mean
David
Noel
Bowie.
Fielding?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Noel.
Noel. Noel. Am I adding more sounds?
Yeah, you're making it sound fancy and American. It's just a British Noel.
Noel.
Hmm.
Noel. Yeah, here it is. Noel Fielding.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because
Is that his drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool?
Because on his Instagram he has a bunch of art you can buy, and then also they did a clip of
Oh, that's so
Well,
nice.
and
Oh, nice. In
Okay.
the flesh.
I love
We're in-
this.
Yeah.
we're in the art.
All right, so we're plugging Noel's sweater line.
yeah.
How much
so
do his sweaters cost? The ones with his drawing?
$194.07.
That's honestly less than I would have thought.
Well,
Right,
also
right.
it's like
Sweaters are
just make it $195.
yeah.
Like or 194. What is the
Yeah,
7
yeah.
cents doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
That covers his artist commission.
The
Yeah, it's
tariff.
probably because it's Australian, and so maybe it's like
It's like an import tax.
it's like the conversion.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It is
Right,
$200 in Australian dollars.
Yeah, 280 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
okay.
sense.
All
All right.
right.
All right.
right.
Let's
I
see.
think I know what I'm getting us for Christmas.
That's honestly, I would
Matching
love.
Noel
I would
Fielding.
love. They have to be long enough that the sleeves go over your hands, so you
Yeah.
can kind of like
Oh my
middle
gosh,
school
yeah.
girl kind of
I mean,
hold
that's
your
kind
sweater.
of what the model kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
is doing with it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, if this sweater line has my name on it, you got to make the sleeves longer.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like slightly over regulation.
Yeah. Regulatory
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweater size.
The sweater council will be concerned.
I'll be sending an email to Jesse Thorne after this.
Yeah. Asking if
See,
we can have
yeah,
a show
yeah,
budget
yeah,
for
yeah.
sweaters.
Sweater
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah. All right. Who else? John did an Irish cream and coffee biscuit. The fact we learned is that his parents still do his laundry. I lost a little bit of respect for him.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's one of my things where, like, as an adult, it's like, do your own laundry.
You can construct
Right.
a
Use that-
big ass cake that looks like a thing, and you can't do your
You
laundry.
have to use that Lloyd's money to buy a washing
You
machine.
think you could afford a washing
Yeah,
machine?
come on.
Stole thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about this right before we started recording. I know you guys aren't watching The Golden Bachelorette, but there's one contestant, one bachelor on this season who is like his character game is rich. He's like, I own my own business in Chicago and I'm really rich. And they use it as a joke because he'll just be in the mansion where all the guys are living together, and he's like he like pays a guy to do his laundry. He's like, I'll give you $100 if you do my laundry every week. And the other guys talk about him walking into the kitchen being like, that looks good. Can you make me one of those? Like, he doesn't cook. He doesn't clean.
No.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm not that gives me the ick.
Yeah.
That's my like, you got to be a self-sufficient adult. I don't care how
Yeah.
rich you are.
Yeah.
You got to know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like that's oftentimes like the most, biggest CEOs or whatever, like can't do the basic things because
The
they haven't
basic
had to in a
things.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I feel like I saw a meme recently that was like, me watching my boss who makes 7 figures struggle to save a PDF or something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know what they're getting paid for. Okay. Ilyin is a pistachio and white chocolate biscuit. We learned that she doesn't drink tea, which I was like, that's illegal in the UK.
Yeah. Can't do that.
You have to.
You get in
Sacrilege.
trouble. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not a lot of story there. A little flat. Lost a little definition on her. Oh, and it was that she put a bunch of pistachio in, and they're like, I don't taste the pistachio. Anyway. Okay, Nelly. Let's just talk about Nelly as a personality. Nelly is starting to win my, like, you know how last season on MasterChef we were like, give Kamei her own show?
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning toward give Nelly her own show.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Nelly's very fun. Like, I think she's got a good balance of like humor and like real story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's my specialty in picking someone with good,
Good stories,
vibes,
yeah.
good stories.
Mm-mm.
Not necessarily great output. It seems like that.
She didn't do
is-
bad.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
isn't who I'm referring to.
Sure.
we
Good,
aren't
good.
there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
No, but I wrote down some of her bits. She had a bit with Noel where he's like, where are you from again? She's like, you forgot? I'm the love of your life? And you already forgot where I'm from? I'm like, okay, cheeky. I
Yeah.
Good
love
banter.
it.
Good banter.
She said, after you eat my biscuits, you're going to go woof woof because they're themed after her dog.
Oh yes.
Karolko was the name of her dog.
Oh,
And she said, in my country, we actually say how. But when you eat my biscuits, you're going to go woof woof or else I'm going to go home. And I'm like,
Whoa.
Nelly.
Wordplay.
Yeah.
you've really got it down.
She's mastered the
bits.
language.
They were judging her bake, and she said she was in Vienna for 7 years. And Paul called her out and was like, I've been to Vienna. What shops were you at? And she goes, you went to the posh shops. I was at the regular shops.
Yeah. I was
like,
in
Very
these
quick
streets.
thinking.
Yeah.
I was in the corner stores where we were real, and rugged. Not the tourist trap.
not your
Oh
fancy
my
frou
God.
frou.
Yeah.
No, I love Nelly, and they really liked her biscuits, so really good. She said she was up till midnight practicing the night before, so she's also, she's working hard. She's got personality.
Oh yeah.
I'm rooting for Nelly. Not officially because she's not on my team, but I am rooting for Nelly. Okay, who else? We got Christian. Let's talk Christian. We learned that he gardens with his partner. He brought in tarragon. This was sort of like a roller coaster because at first they were like, Prue was like, I don't know how this tarragon's going to work out. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're already kind of biased against him because they hated him last
The
week.
flavors. Yeah. Especially because it's like tarragon, lavender.
Yeah.
Very strong herbs, very different.
Yeah.
And he kind of, last week he was all like, I don't think I have the same palate as them because obviously these things I really love, like they don't
Yeah.
like. So
Yeah.
I was worried again just because, he was still staying strong with those like really like
He
polarizing
stuck to his
things.
guns. Yeah.
I respect that too. It's like, don't let the show change you. Be who you are.
Yeah. Own it.
Mm.
But yeah, they said they called him an alchemist, which he was very pleased
Ooh,
with, because it's really interesting and delicious, and they didn't expect it to be interesting and delicious, which is
Yeah.
sort of a backhanded compliment, but I get it. And Christian does well later in the episode. We'll get there. Let's talk Georgie. She did a rhubarb and custard biscuit. We learned that she got her first tattoo when she turned 18, and her parents still don't know about it.
Now they do.
Now they do.
Now they do.
It's on TV.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm not sure if they showed because she might have had long sleeves on last
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
but like the reveal of like the full sleeve was pretty cool.
It was sick.
yeah.
I was like, oh, we probably listen to similar music,
Hey.
yeah.
She also like was very, or they kind of commented on the color of her biscuits, right, with the rhubarb.
'cause
And I
they-
didn't think it looked bad, but I don't know what the speckled was like. I thought
I
that was
don't
a
mind the
cool.
speckle,
I thought that was
yeah.
like a cool
I
feature.
agree.
But she was worried about it. They also didn't like it. Interesting.
Yeah, she was being
Yeah.
defensive about it because they put her on the defense, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
I
like-
guess there's like a neatness to baking where you're like, it should look nicer than this, but I'm like, she's a home baker. It
Yeah.
looks
yeah,
delicious.
I would think it's
Yeah.
like
And I think
Bizarre.
that might even be another like difference between British, biscuits and American cookies because, we like a fucked up looking cookie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. We eat cookie dough. It doesn't even have to be a cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the compost cookie, or I think you call
Right,
it the
yeah,
trash
yeah.
cookie.
Oh
Garbage
yeah,
cookie,
yeah. I
yeah.
think I said garbage.
Garbage cookie. That's what it was.
One of those words.
Yeah, no, we love those cookies.
They're good though.
Or like the fact that like watching this show for the last 10 years or whatever is really what taught me like, oh, British biscuit is supposed to be crisp. It's supposed to snap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm like,
Right.
Americans love a soft,
Oh
gooey.
yeah. A little
Gooey,
bit of
chewy.
Yeah.
undercooked, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Sumaya did a cheese and blackberry biscuit. She did it in the shape of swans, despite the fact that she's scared of swans. And I was like, girl, you own a duck.
Yeah, it's not that different.
It's not that
Just
different.
Slightly bigger, longer neck.
Yeah.
And I think ducks might be more aggressive than swans.
Oh, are they really?
I'm not
Interesting.
sure.
I would believe it.
Swans, yeah.
Yeah, I might be basing it off of I might be actually I'm thinking of a goose. Not a,
Oh yeah, goose is similar. Yeah, goose
Is
are pretty intense.
Goose not I know nothing about animals.
Yeah.
Is goose not like the female version of a swan or something, or vice
No,
versa?
no,
I don't
I
know.
don't think
They're
so.
a totally different bird.
But
Okay.
they do
I'm so
like they
stupid.
can look similar because they're also can be like white with bills.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, where I kind of got
Yeah.
it confused because it's like if you just know them from like children's books,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you see them in the wild, you're like, which one is this?
Right.
But
Yeah.
You chase a duck and they'll go into water. You chase a goose enough
they'll
times
come
it'll come turn around and be like, all right, fuck you then, let's go.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys played Untitled Goose Game?
No.
No,
Much
but
fun.
yeah.
It's a Switch game. It's like an indie game for Switch,
Mhm.
and you play a goose, and there's only a couple controls. It's like you can quack, and you can like pick stuff up, and that's it. And the whole aim of the game is to go around bothering people. It's literally like go into this garden and cause chaos. It's like steal an apple, lock the person in their house,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
turn on
cute.
the car engine. It's just like
Wow, chaos.
yeah,
I mean, the geese that live around the ponds here in LA, like
Oh.
if every time there's like fuzzy season where the little geese babies come out,
yeah.
if you get like near them, they get real pissed off,
Yeah.
right? Or like
Yeah.
people's dogs are always
Yes,
like getting
yeah. They hate my
quacked
dog.
after.
And my dog he's not like aggressive. He's like
Yeah.
friendly. He's just getting near to like investigate, and they're like,
Yeah, understandable. They don't know
Yeah.
they don't know
they
his
don't know.
character.
Yeah,
Like, you could be a wolf.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's what Sumaya did. She also said that she hates goat's cheese. Everything about this, I'm like, why are you making this?
She was like,
Yeah.
my family likes it, so I guess so.
Yeah.
Which is like, wow, that's pretty good that she can, I guess, be open to sourcing other people's palates as well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it seems like people pleaser energy, but you're trying to make some biscuits to please people. So
Yeah. And it paid off. They said Prue called them a little triumph. Prue loves calling things a triumph, and I'm here for it.
Sure.
It's a nice way to describe a bake. Mike did his malted brown butter and raspberry biscuits. Prue started to give advice, and Paul was like, up. You can't give him advice.
Ooh.
And I thought that was fun.
He claimed to already know what she said. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
It's fun. I didn't realize that was like such a hardline stance for the judges to be like, we're not going to tell you what to do. You know what I mean?
do
Yeah.
like that in the sense of kind of with MasterChef, I was like, oh, some people are getting some like hints here. And I
Right,
assume that, they're probably giving across to the board, but like you only see certain ones. So you're
Yeah.
kind of feel like, oh, does somebody have an
Yeah.
advantage?
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Or what if they, were already farther along and they didn't get the hint because they like already did the thing wrong,
Right,
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
I kind of like that there's like a hard line.
Yeah. You're on your own.
Yeah.
We want to see how you do.
Yeah.
We also learned that Mike does community theater. That's cute.
Yeah.
They showed him on
Cute.
stage holding a script and looking out a fake window or
Window,
something.
yeah. Classic stuff.
Doing his rear window stage play.
Okay.
Something that translates beautifully to the stage is
Oh,
just
yeah.
one man sitting at a window
watching-
staring.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy. Let's talk about Andy. Did the peanut butter and jelly, the American peanut butter and jelly, despite the fact that Prue and Allison both said they hate peanut butter,
Yeah.
which I feel like is a common refrain for Brits, and I'm like, you
Yeah,
guys don't
that's
know what you're missing
weird,
out
yeah.
I
on.
mean,
know.
yeah, that's like,
That must be something from the beans on toast thing. Like that when you have a palate for that, it just
Yeah.
knocks out. It's like, no.
Are you not a fan of beans on toast? I love an English breakfast.
No. I love English breakfast up until the beans on toast.
Wow.
I'll eat every part of it up until that beans and
What
toast.
is like too carb on carby for you, or like what's
you
going
know,
on?
It just looks not appetizing, and I'm not good. And a lot of people when I would dunk on it, would be like, well, Mexican food, there's beans for breakfast. I said, beans for breakfast isn't the problem.
That's not the issue.
Beans sloppily tossed on toast
boy.
and being like, bon appetit is the problem.
I love
On
it.
like a dry toast.
Yeah.
And like a.
But the beans make it
sometimes-
wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
The beans
I
make
don't
it-
know.
The
I
beans
don't
make it wet.
know. I
That's
don't
our
Beans make it
t-shirt.
wet,
know.
Yeah. The beans
Okay,
make
good.
it wet.
Fire up the new sweater line.
No, I love it. I didn't pick up on Andy's accent as much last week.
Mm.
It's hard to meet everyone in 1 week.
Yeah.
Hearing Andy talk more in this episode was like, oh, that's my favorite accent.
It's
this
yeah,
Ooh,
Cockney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's real like peanut butter.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Because he also has the like deep voice,
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there we
yeah,
go.
dude.
Yeah,
DH to
it's
V.
all about it.
Yeah, I'm big on Andy's accent. We learned that he joined the army, fought in the Balkan War, and he learned peanut butter and jelly from the Americans. And he dressed exactly the same as Jeff. I literally took a picture of the screen. Like anytime they got them in a 2-shot, I'm like, who let them
What
onto
is
set
happening?
wearing the exact same like sweater hat combo? They're the same height. I'm like,
And like a really orange hat, like
Yeah.
and blue.
Yeah, they probably
sweater,
didn't
sweater?
catch it till like they were on set.
Yeah, and they
'cause
just
they
went,
thought
"Oh,
it was
no."
the same person. Yeah. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh boy.
yeah. But yeah, his biscuits were good. The judges liked the peanut butter and jam. Dylan did a campfire cookie. That's a s'more, dog. I'm sorry. Like, come on. You guys are all doing American flavors. That's
Yeah.
a s'more. We know what it is.
Yeah.
We know you know what it
Campfire
is.
cookie.
You gotta just call it a s'more.
No, that's a campfire cookie.
That's really all there is to say. It was good. I don't know. Jill did her 2 desserts biscuit, little key lime pie, little passion fruit. She told the story of how her and her husband usually order 2 desserts and have a little bit of each. And to me, I was like, do you guys not do that? That's like God's way to me.
Yeah,
That's how it's
yeah,
supposed
that's
to
how
be.
that's
Yeah, you
when
get-
you are, eating somewhere as a couple. The treat is to taste multiple things.
Yes.
Like any exes that have ever ordered the same thing as me and didn't know why I was just rolling my eyes the whole dinner.
Right. Immediate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're
Or
all-
the
Eviction.
I've had a couple exes who do the aggressive like my food is mine. And I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's a red flag.
Yeah, huge
Yeah,
red flag.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. You got to share.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
hard in my relationship is that Laura's not a dessert person. So like for appetizers and mains, we will like order different things and split everything. When it comes to dessert, she's like, "Get whatever you want, and I'll have 2 bites." And I'm like, "But I want 2 desserts.
Yeah.
You have to get a dessert."
Yeah, if you get a dessert, we both get
Right,
different
right.
desserts.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair.
So Jill did her 2 desserts, and we learned that she rings the bells at her local church,
Yeah.
which is fun. I forgot that's still a job that people do.
Yeah.
Seems dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, she talked about how like the
Yeah.
bells can lift you up if you're like holding onto the rope or whatever.
Yikes.
And her biscuits were good. Okay, and finally, Hazel. Hazel. With her coffee biscuits, they came out flat. She had to throw them in the bin and start over again. That is a half point. Okay, here's a point of clarification. So she was talking to John, and John was like, I think you should start again. And I think that some people at home are going to think, does that count as helping? I'm going to vote no, because if we go down the slippery slope of like advice is helping a fellow
Yeah.
baker, they're kind of all doing that at all
Yeah.
times. And I don't want to have to delineate like at what point does advice become like help, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like I always thought of it as more like hands-on,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you're
You're
another
picking
pair
up
of hands.
utensils.
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
You're messing with the food.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Rolling up
agree.
your sleeves.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, throughout this whole bake, I was like, I'm worried about Hazel.
Oh.
I was like surprised that she finished, you know?
Sure. I mean, I think she was struggling, and
She was definitely
you know,
struggling.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's cold in that tent.
It's been a journey for Hazel since episode 1.
A long,
Long
hard
journey.
journey.
And we were hoping it might turn around, and it did not.
It did
It's
not.
Still
Yeah.
heading in the same direction.
One thing I gotta say, she's got great. I mean, I assume false eyelashes. The eyelash game is
She looks incredible.
looking great,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's a lot to do every morning, I presume.
Yeah.
So, kudos to that.
You know, she's working hard to make herself look good on national television,
Yeah.
and that's more than I can say about a lot of people.
Sure.
Some people really
And,
just
you know,
roll up on
Or they're
TV.
hers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Right.
they are her
Yeah.
natural eyelashes.
Yeah, she could just have naturally long, beautiful eyelashes. I do want to talk a little bit about her judging because Paul Hollywood kind of like mercy killed the judging. He literally said, Like, him and Prue were both like, the biscuit's underbaked. It's like soft and chewy. And then he was like, there's no sweetness to it. I think you missed the sugar. And then he's like, I'm not going to say anything else because it's like you can't pile on at that point. It's like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, at that point, we know what it is.
Yeah, she was
It's
like, oh
done.
no.
Yeah. You just back to back goofs. Just back to back.
Goof City.
Goof
Goof City,
Goof
population
time.
Hazel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. Okay, and that's the end of that round. In his little talking head, I gave Andy a half point for crying because he got choked up,
Yeah.
which is adorable.
That was very sweet. He's like, what's wrong with me?
Yes, yeah.
What's happening?
What's come over
Yeah,
me?
what's come over me?
Sorry, I don't mean to. Yeah,
Oh.
it was great. I love Andy. I love his accent, and he cried. So that's a half point. And then Jeff goes off to see the medical team again.
No.
He said he's gonna do his best, and he comes back in the tent, and everyone cheers for him. And then we start the technical challenge.
Oh no.
Technical challenge is to make 12 mint creme biscuits. I didn't know that tempering chocolate was so hard. They really focused a lot on like everyone doing the temperatures. I didn't.
Yeah. So is it that you just have to reach a certain temperature and then bring it back down?
Yeah, you
to
have
like
to
activate it.
Yeah,
or
there's
something?
there's
Okay.
like more than one temperature because you have to get it hot enough and then cool enough.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I had a conversation about this with Dylan where we were talking about the after 8 biscuit or cookie that like is I guess
What is
popular
this?
in London. So I remember having them as a kid. Here they're just like really thin mint chocolate little snacks, and it felt very like dainty and fancy.
Okay.
And I think they sold them at like Trader Joe's here or something, but that's like a real thing. And I guess in the UK where you'll go to dinner, you'll pretty much always be given that little thing at the end of your meal. And
Here we have the Andes mint.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
We
basically
do mass manufactured candy. Yeah.
It's basically that, yeah. But like, yeah, you get it and maybe you eat it there or something. Maybe
Oh, that's
it's
so
with coffee.
nice.
But yeah, I mean, I think that one doesn't have like a biscuit in it. That's more maybe just the mint itself.
Oh,
but
sure.
maybe it does have the biscuit.
like
but
a
anyway, the fact
like a
that
York
that's
peppermint
thing.
patty.
Yeah, but like
just
real
mint
thin.
and yeah.
But actually, maybe this mint biscuit is kind of that. You know, they'll have that too. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't know it was such a staple.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
All right. So we start the technical. Jeff, I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but he just says, I've had enough. I just can't do it. Walks away. He's done. And he says his lovely goodbye. And then we just move on because we have to. It's a show. There's
he just
no.
walks off. Yeah, I kind of felt bad. I was like, and then they have to interview him and be like, oh well, I just needed to go, you know. And it's like, let the man go.
Let
he
him
just
go.
he's done.
He's
like
out.
get in a like bed somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he's well.
Yeah.
Really wish him well. Okay, going in order from worst to first. In last place was Dylan, which it looked so bad. That it like you know how sometimes you see something on the show and you're like, that's like a nailed it bake.
Sure, that
like
was
comically bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. They called it quote a disaster. Paul couldn't cut through it. There was a shot of Paul like leaning on the knife, and he's a big man, and he like it just
thick
chocolate.
chocolate.
Yeah.
And during the bake, Dylan points out to Noel that Noel's like, I'm left-handed, and Dylan's like, I'm left-handed, and then Dylan's like, did you know that sinister means left-handed? And that's the point where I'm like, Dylan has little brother energy to me. We were talking about this before we started recording, but it's like there's such a gulf between how Dylan looks and how he acts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what his first dates are like. They look so cool, and then you meet him, and you're like, you're a huge dork.
Yeah. Like I said, he had that
Nerd
glow
alert.
up. He had that glow up, and he's like,
Yeah. He hit puberty. He got hot.
yeah.
But his brain is still like, I like ancient Egypt. Did you know that sinister means left-handed? I tried to skate. I can't.
Oh no, it's okay. That's cool too.
Yeah.
It's cool too.
But
Another
but
hot
yeah,
nerd.
Hot nerd.
nerd
Yeah,
alert.
don't worry. He's deep in his like journey, especially based on his age. His next step is reading Polysecure, and then he's gonna just become this like.
You have to mentor him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to
I'm
show him
sure.
the path
Yeah,
to being a
yeah.
hot
Yeah, yeah.
nerd.
Yeah.
I see your future. Come
Hello,
with
how's
me
it
if you
going?
want
Let
to
me-
live.
Let me help you, Dylan.
Okay, in 10th place was Andy. When they were going through like why he's in 10th place, Paul just picked up his board and turned it upside down, and all of his biscuits were stuck to the board. There you go. That's exactly why.
Good visual.
And he did have to start his chocolate over again, so that's another half point there. And he was feeling it. Everyone came over and like hugged him at the end when they called time. He was really struggling. Really, they said it looked like it was assembled in a hurry. You could just tell it wasn't good. It was bad.
Yeah.
After that's Georgie. We can kind of rush through the middle here. Ilyeen, they said hers looked like top hats. Nelly, and then Christian. Christian was one of two people who said he hated the mint chocolate combo,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, he couldn't taste it, right? He had someone else taste
Yeah.
it, and he was like, it made me gag.
It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like toothpaste, tastes like toothpaste.
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
I can. But I mean, as long as you get the right,
Yeah.
add enough sugar, I feel like you're
yeah.
good.
The chocolate to me is what makes it not toothpaste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there
also,
toothpaste in the
combo.
UK that's like chocolate flavored? You know what I mean?
No.
Like mint?
Maybe.
Because now you just have an issue with mint, period.
Yeah.
Which some people don't like, fine.
Sure.
But being like, I hate chocolate mint because it reminds me of toothpaste. I'm like,
Whoa.
what toothpaste are you using?
Like, well,
What are
I
you
always
mixing?
get my, nightly chocolate bar before I brush my teeth.
The after eight.
combo.
They have
Yeah,
that.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Too close to the bedtime.
Hazel in 5th, Jill in 4th. 3rd place, getting a half point, is Sumaya. She was the other person who said she hates this flavor combo. I think she
Yeah.
was the one who said toothpaste. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Sumaya, she's a dental student.
Yeah.
She should be very familiar with
Yeah.
toothpaste.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Maybe,
She tasting
yeah.
the different toothpaste.
Yeah,
It
she
brings
can
it.
be one of the 10 dentists recommending.
Yeah, she's the one who doesn't recommend toothpaste.
Yeah.
Maybe she's experiencing it too much and it reminds her of work.
Yeah, that could be it. She has like a Pavlovian association with mint, and it
Right.
makes her think of like finals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. In 2nd place with 1 point, it's John. They said John and Mike were really close, but yeah, they said it was neat and proportioned well and good textures. And in 1st place was Mike, which is a reversal from last week. So Mike came in, he points out that last week he came in last during the technical. And he's like, well, I can't do worse than that. And then he goes, well, actually, last week there were only 11 people. This time there are 12 people. I could do worse than last
oh
week.
my gosh,
So
ranking
funny.
wise.
Yeah. But he came in first, so Mike gets a point and a half. We do our little mid-episode review. We wish well to Jeff. They say at this point, Sumai's a front runner, John's a front runner, Hazel's in trouble, Georgie's in trouble, Ilyeen's in trouble. And Noel tells a charming story about how he saw Andy hold up a spoon and go, "Hello, mate." That it added to the like gas leak feel of the
Yeah.
episode. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like everyone in this tent's going insane.
Oh my god, yeah, you either lose your mind or your
Yeah.
body's ability to stand.
Yeah, exactly. Your mind or your body is going to go. One of the two.
Yeah.
Choose.
No one makes it out of the tent alive.
Yeah.
All right, we start our showstopper challenge, which is to make an edible puppet theater out of Biscuit.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is supposed to be a show about baking, period. Baking, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
If I was a contestant, I would have made a much bigger deal about this. I would not have took this lying down and be
Yeah.
like,
Oh
what are
my-
we doing?
This
At
isn't
what
Right.
point would we make puppets out of food? Is this the
our forefathers would
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
disgusted with us.
Yeah.
Great British Baking Show? Not the crafting show.
Jeff is looking real wise right now.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
got
I
out
mean,
while he was
Yeah,
ahead.
that's we're gonna find out he saw the extended call sheet and he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm out of here.
I'm not
Good,
doing
this
that.
is the
Outta
time to
here.
leave.
I ain't making no puppets.
They did really accept that right
Yeah.
away. They were like, okay,
Yeah, got it. That's the
Yeah.
assignment.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Will
I'm
do.
ready to go. Like, what the? Do they? I guess there must be just a culture of puppet shows there that's more prevalent.
Mm.
I don't know. Because I'm like, when I think of like modern puppetry, I'm like, no, that's the Muppets. That's us.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
That's
they
not
did
the UK.
say you
know?
watch the Muppets.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I have some news, guys.
here we
go.
The Henson Company Studio, which is
Oh,
that
I heard
Kermit
about
place,
that,
Yeah.
in Hollywood, sold to Scientology. the church.
No.
Oh, they sold. I
Or
heard they were trying
bought
to buy it.
I think they officially did.
Oh
No.
Yeah, but I think it's a landmark or something, so they can't really change
Oh,
it,
so-
too
so
much. But
Awkward. Okay, so for those of you who don't live in LA and don't know what we're talking about, there's a Jim Henson building in Hollywood, and it has a little statue of Kermit outside with like a
Yeah.
top hat. And so you're telling me that because it's preserved, Scientology just now has to have an awkward Kermit statue
I
outside
hope so.
of their
I
building?
sure hope so. I
That's
think,
so
yeah, I don't
weird.
know what the rules around that are, but anyway, so for all those Muppet fans out there making puppet shows,
Yeah.
there's one fewer place to make puppet shows.
I can't remember if I've talked about this on this podcast. When I first moved to LA, I like met someone at a party, and they could have been fucking with me, but it's the kind of thing that stuck with me because I'm like, I would believe it. They were like, the best chicken sandwich in LA is at the Scientology Center. You just have to be
They're trying
willing to
everything.
go into the Scientology Center and like
Yeah.
walk out without losing your mind. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But they're like, it's a really good chicken sandwich.
Oh my god,
Damn.
that's it. Tastes so good after you've been held hostage for
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
with no food for a while.
If you're a Scientologist and you're listening to this, please let us know. Or invite us. I would go.
Okay.
If you're like, I can get you 3 guest passes, you can just go into the restaurant, get a chicken sandwich, and walk out. I'd do it.
Good for
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can put down a fake email address. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get me. I'm mentally fortified.
Oh hell yeah.
Strong up here. You can't.
I believe it.
It's because
We'll
I'm
see.
stupid.
We'll see.
Don't know the difference between a goose
We'll see.
and a swan.
That is
Yeah.
that is what they ask you.
Yeah.
And if you don't, they go, oh, we're not going to get to this guy.
We don't want this guy.
We can't.
He's
Yeah.
stupid. He's too stupid. Paul, I didn't know this. He said he went to art college and he used to paint theater scenes, which he used as a way of being like, my expectations for this puppet theater challenge are high. But I was like, why didn't he go to culinary school? I didn't know he went to just art school.
Yeah.
I'm sure a better host would have looked it up on Wikipedia and just
Yeah,
researched it. But I
pivoted
know.
at some
it's
point,
all
yeah.
good. Yeah, no, because this is all just once again a fucking sham. You're telling me you're gonna judge me based on the art because you went to theater school on this baking show? What are we doing? Taste it, taste it.
Yeah. Also, when they're testing it, we'll get to that. It's like they break off a piece of like kind of random. It's a massive
Yeah,
each
yeah.
thing is like a massive thing. I mean, I assume hopefully it's consistent throughout, and one piece is going to mimic the rest.
Right.
But it's like
There's a
man,
chance they'll
there's
just
a lot
grab
of
the one
elements.
bad part of your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The assembly does give me anxiety. This part of the episode, there's so many of those fucking walls just fell over. They're like, I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
glue this together now, and then just like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, the adhesive. I laughed so hard when like I was Andy or somebody was like using caramel, and they're like, "Do you think Paul likes caramel?" And then Noel was like, "He's power washed with it every day or something."
Noel has good bits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's talk about him. Let's talk about Mike with his go farming scene. You're already out. You're already out.
Oh.
Let's go.
All of his puppets were the animals on his farm. I did think it was cute. He was one of the only ones who did like marionette style. He used
Yeah.
Biscotti as the marionette.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's clever.
Yeah,
And I do love biscotti, so.
Yeah, it's great.
coming around to it.
I thought this was one of the nicer ones. It looked really nice. And he showed us a video of one of his chickens on the farm rounding up all the goats,
That was
which
cute. I couldn't believe how many animals he has.
Oh yeah.
so many
So
animals.
how do you have time to also grow your own flowers or whatever?
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
doing
yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And do it at a level where you're getting awards for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Best young farmer or whatever.
yeah, right.
Yeah, they liked it. They called it lovely. They called it clever. Andy did his "If Pigs Could Fly" because he told. Okay, I gotta know what you guys think of this
The
story.
story?
The story he told, which is like he got called to work on a car that stalled out on the freeway, and then a pig jumped out of the back seat and ran down the freeway.
Yeah, I don't know if that's real, but I don't know if that's real. I don't think it's
just
real.
Another insight into Andy and the way he's talking. He's like rambling, and I can't
Yeah.
really understand everything he's saying. And then it's
Yeah.
like, but it's very endearing, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" He's like, "You asked."
yeah.
It's very fun.
Yeah, crazy story, but he made a beautiful little biscuit thing out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure,
Because
original.
he knew how to make it.
Yeah,
So he made a whole story up to justify making that.
yeah, that's smart.
I wrote this down. Andy was the one. They called him out on the cracks in the side of the wall, and he said, "Well, yeah, it's because it's an old theater."
That was
Like
good.
he
I
like
love
worked
that.
it into the narrative.
that
I'm
was
like,
awesome.
nice try, buddy. I
Yeah.
see what you're doing
yeah.
there.
Hey, it's on purpose.
It's supposed to look shitty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an old theater.
Underfunded.
It would look weird if it wasn't.
Yeah. Maybe you should patronize the arts some
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Maybe if you did, we wouldn't have so many cracks.
I know. Yeah, we're waiting for you. I'm raising awareness.
Let's talk about Christian. Beautiful. So he got a handshake. I should have saved this for the end, but he got a handshake on this one. It's his finding home bake. It little rotating like 4 scenes
So
on a
cute,
carousel.
Yeah.
Well done, like neat. You know what I mean? And it told a story about a beautiful little weirdo biscuit boy who like finds his place baking.
Aw. I loved how he had the framing of the curtains and then it rotated
Yes.
behind that. That was like so
Yes.
cool. I feel like a lot of these are giving like when you make a diorama for school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like some kids are just like it's amazing.
Yeah,
and
they're
Yeah.
then
built
some
for it.
people it's like falling apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In college, we threw a diorama party, and
Oh, hell yeah.
I came in second place, and I still resent it to this day.
Oh shit.
My
Who's
roommates who
number
are voting
one?
on it, who are listening to this,
Dead to us.
Yeah, wow.
I remember.
You made the wrong choice.
I don't even remember what won, but I remember that I got second. And I was
Huh.
like, fuck
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys.
Did
Yeah.
the person who win have an awesome podcast talking about TV
No.
chefs?
No,
Yeah, so there you go. You won.
I bet he just has a regular job
Yeah.
Ah,
that pays well.
yeah.
Yeah, look at you. Don't you feel silly?
Yeah, and I also want to talk about Christian's very thorough timing plan. He had like a printed spreadsheet of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you bake this at this time and then let it cool during this. And I was like, that's a man who knows logistics.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good. And
kind
he
of, you know,
was-
what you were talking about.
Mhm. Yeah,
Logistics
yeah.
coming into play, helping you out.
Yeah.
He like it definitely shed light on like, oh yeah, so they do have time to prep and they know, going in, so you can really go that far, I guess.
Right, yeah.
On top of, planning what you're gonna do and making up fake stories.
Yeah. Or you just go in and you wing it, which I feel like some contestants, you can like feel it when they do that. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Sure.
Anyway, they said Paul said it was one of the best things he's ever seen in the tent ever in 15 years. So high praise to Christian.
Yeah.
All right. And also, I haven't looked up the statistics. Almost no one gets a handshake on the showstopper.
Oh, interesting.
It's almost always during a signature challenge. Because the technical, it's like, it can only ever be as good as they make it.
Yeah.
Signature is where you really get to impress people. And showstopper is usually where you just, like, go for broke.
Yeah.
And so most people, it's like, even if it's good, your concept's bad or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think it's really hard to get a handshake.
Damn.
If I could weight it and give it more points, I would, but I won't. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay, Georgie did a Welsh festival. There was a little bit of drama because her caramel crystallized. They showed her caramel, like, bubbling over.
Yeah.
They did not explicitly show her restarting it. I think it's implied, but it wasn't shown, so I'm not going to give a restart point there.
Okay.
And they said that it was all slightly underbaked, which was a bummer. Firmly in the middle there, Georgie. John also did a Welsh thing. He did a Welsh Adventures thing because his family had a Welsh summer home. He had his dog in there, and it was fine. They said the figures could use more detail. Okay, Hazel. Let's talk about Hazel. She did Punch and Judy, which to me is like the most old-timey puppet I can think of. You know what I mean? Like for the oldest person on the cast at 71 years old to be like, I'm gonna do Punch and Judy. I'm like, of course.
Yeah, I read something that
Cute.
described Punch and Judy that I feel like we can.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we can look it up. Hold on, this is me looking up this.
Were you guys familiar with Punch and Judy prior to this?
Not at all.
I don't think so. I think like
yeah.
I've heard those names together.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think it's like
I
you
don't
learn it
know.
in like I was not a theater major, but I took a few of like the theater classes, and it's like part of theater history. It's like
Yeah.
Theater 101, sort of like this is if you're gonna learn about puppets, this is what you need to know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
This
and
is
they look so creepy.
Quoting Vulture's Brian Moylan, who
Okay.
does the recap, and he described Punch and Judy as where is it?
It's okay, we can edit this out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. That's right.
Sorry, Val.
Sorry. But now we're okay. He describes. This is the description that he gave. Most Americans have no idea what Punch and Judy is, but it is a wildly violent and misogynistic puppet show that the English have been showing their children for centuries, and, well, maybe that explains the colonialism.
Oh, it's responsible for so
Yeah.
much death.
That's not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They look horrifying. They look like from nightmares.
Yeah, I think the part of the longevity of it is it's like Commedia dell'arte, where it's like you can translate, you know what I mean? So it's like
Okay.
you can make Punch and Judy kind of look like anything.
Right. Yeah. I guess it kind of reminds me of like I think my sister had these like scary marionettes as a child, and they're terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Wait, okay, describe the marionette.
Well, marionette. I mean, I think it's just like like rosy cheeks and stuff, but like made of wood. It's
Oh,
just like
sure.
Chucky kind of vibes.
Yeah. It like looks too happy, and the fact that it's like
Right.
the face is like frozen that happy is like a little.
very like smile.
Yeah. I just pulled up the Wikipedia page. There is a little chunk on this, and the first sentence under the comedy heading of Punch and Judy on Wikipedia is, despite Punch's unapologetic murders throughout the performances, it is still considered a comedy.
Despite. Oh, yeah, because Prue wanted like him to have a truncheon,
Right, yeah.
which I assume is what he does
It's like a
murder
club.
with.
Yeah. He's called Punch because he punches. You know what I mean? He
yeah.
fucking beats his wife, and everyone thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, like, itchy and scratchy.
That's
Oh,
more. I think
sure.
that's like the spirit of it. Is it's like yes, if you like academia-atize it, you're like, yes, this man is beating his wife, and we all laugh. But it's like it's Tom and Jerry. You know what I mean? It's like Looney Tunes. It's not.
Tom
That
and
is
Jerry
the most
has
nuts
problematic
sentence I've ever heard
this whole time.
in my.
I'm fine with it, is what I'm saying. No,
Yeah.
I'm. Just, it's like it's of a different time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I hate getting mad at history. I'm like, what?
Fair.
Elvis
It can
married a
be,
young woman. I'm like, he's dead. What do you
Yeah,
What do you want?
yeah.
He's dead.
Elvis died.
Yeah.
Okay. Hazel's Punch and Judy bake was, they said, a bit wonky. They had this joke about it's old, so am I. But yeah, she did shortbread, not gingerbread. Paul looked baffled by that decision.
When one is clearly way better tasting than the other. Once again.
And I think that it's also like better for construction purposes. Like shortbread will crumble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We use
Right.
gingerbread to build stuff because it's like,
It's like sturdy.
yeah, exactly.
Wait, who
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the ginger?
I was saying,
wait.
I was saying the shortbread tastes better. So I'm like, maybe that's what she
Sure,
was
she
thinking.
wanted
because she
the
was
flavor.
like,
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
on
I
a
was wondering
baking
if
show.
you
Let
like
me make
shortbread
something
better.
that tastes good.
Yeah.
Maybe not something with good build quality because this
I'm
is
not an
not the
engineer.
great British engineering show.
Yeah.
It's the fucking baking show. But yes.
Someone was telling me, I haven't heard of this show. Someone was telling me the other day about there's a Netflix cooking show where it literally is a baker and an engineer. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Oh no.
I haven't either. And I don't know how popular it is. I'm sure people are going to write and be like, I love that show. But it's literally like teams of like a baker and an engineer. And it's a challenge. Every challenge is like they were describing one of the challenges was like build a boat that you can eat. And the boat has
Oh.
to be able to like float across this
Nice.
body
Oh,
of water.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems fun.
That's
Yeah.
that's more in this challenge was like more like that, I guess. It's
Yeah.
a little more functional and then the
Yeah.
taste is whatever.
And some people did functional, again, like the rotating scenes. Like
Yeah.
some people really built moving parts, which is incredible. Okay, let's talk about Dylan, who did his Rabbit in the Moon, the Japanese fable. It looked beautiful. Probably my favorite looking one, I think, of the bunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean he was really painting there with his like
Yeah.
full paintbrush and it came out well. I at first I was just like this guy he's been
You
really
painted with the paintbrush,
chaotic.
the Egypt nerd and all this. Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy paints Warhammers.
Yeah.
Okay, he knows how to paint minis.
He has a
He's-
deft
yeah.
hand.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely.
he has like a little
he
magnifying
he
glass.
has 2 different 2,000-point armies. He's ready to go. Probably some Slaneshi soldiers, a couple of Space Marines.
Oh, you're going deep now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and then his like outfit he was wearing was like kind of this cool vest, but like out to the shoulders. I feel like, which
Yeah.
made him look like he was like in the zone, like
Oh,
full, you know,
Yeah.
Japanese lore, like
Mm-hmm.
painting and fighting
Oh, yeah.
wars and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Looks very cool. He did drop something, so he lost a half point. But then he started it over. That is plus a half point.
Oh,
So this
hey.
is as the point system was intended to. It was designed this way.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you lose it for dropping something, you get it back and net 0 for starting over again.
Okay.
But everything he made was burnt.
Oh no, yeah, he was just, oh, a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I did appreciate. So when he did the presentation, he injected dry ice into it to make smoke, and I'm like,
That
this
was
is.
very cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He has a good sense of like showmanship for his
Yeah.
Yeah,
age.
I know. It's really burned by my own rant here because all the things he did good was the constructing things, and the actual baking
Right.
a tasty
Yeah.
dish was bad.
Yeah. He used roasted soybean flour in the biscuits, which I thought was interesting and cool.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it taste good. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
you focus too much on the dry ice, you're gonna burn your biscuits.
And the brush strokes.
yeah.
But yeah, and then he incorporated miso. The second time we've seen that.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, which thematically makes a little bit more sense
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
you're
here.
making like a Japanese thing and not
Sure.
an apple
Yeah.
miso thing. Cake.
Umami loaf cake.
Then he fell out of his stool. We already talked about that. We don't need to.
He was like, "Oh boy, I was getting my water bottle." Like that doesn't really explain anything.
Yeah. Again, it feels like a little brother thing. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah. You're like trying to have like a quiet moment, and then like they flip something over.
exactly. And it's just like, find your center of balance, man.
Yeah. Can't stand on a skateboard. Can't sit on a stool.
Yeah, it's like moving or sitting. It's
Oh,
hard. It's
my
hard.
boy.
It's hard.
My sweet boy. He's like the British Steve Holt. For all my Arrested Development.
Yeah.
No.
Steve Holt.
Steve Holt.
All right, Jill did the gingerbread man. I thought this was another good one because she didn't aim too high. I don't mean that as an insult. It's like gingerbread is good construction. You have to tell a story. She's like, I'm going to do the gingerbread man, make it out of gingerbread. She decorated it like gingerbread man. Like, she didn't have to paint anything. She's like, it's going to look like the gingerbread man. And it all worked.
They like that she adjusted the piping. It kind of keeps it. You don't have to fill in those colors, and then. But like Prue didn't know the gingerbread man story. Or something?
I didn't
Is that,
either,
like, a thing?
actually.
Oh, okay, I thought everybody knew that. For some
So
reason.
you knew the horrifying ending was just the gingerbread man gets eaten, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going based off of like the real gingerbread man story or Shrek?
Oh my God. Both. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Gingerbread Man, I think, was replugged into the consciences of consciences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got it.
of America.
Right.
From the Shrek, great, but yeah, no, I'm talking about the Orig. I think there was some, the storybook where like they had little it would win like the Caldecott medal for having really good
Hans Christian
illustration.
Andersen or the so and so brothers.
Oh yeah, right. One of those
yeah,
guys.
one of those
One of
guys.
those Europeans. And then. Yeah, I think I did know that he gets baked at the end, but he's kind of an asshole the whole time. So you're kind of like, okay, with
I didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah, because
He's
it's like, you can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread.
Yeah, and you're like, just get,
Oh.
come on, just let me eat you. Come on, man.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, we made you to be eaten.
Yeah, not to chase.
To run around. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, I think Shrek captured kind of the salaciousness of it, where he's kind of like, ooh, I'm a little hard to catch,
Yeah.
you know.
I did have to explain to Laura this week because are you guys watching Love Is Blind? Love Is Blind came back this week.
No, but I'll have to. Is this a good one?
There was a small interaction where one of the girls was like, "What movie do you think I remind you of?" And the guy said Shrek, and Laura was like, "That's weird," and I was like, "No, for like 0.5 generation beneath us, Shrek is like a thing.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z made like Shrek raves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah, Shrek
there's
raves.
like current product collaborations with Shrek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've
And-
really kind of brought it back into like being like a cool thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. People loved it.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So I think that like 20-somethings on a dating show being like Shrek is like it means something different to them than it does to us.
Positive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not like, are you calling me an ogre? It's like, no.
No.
You like this fun movie. I like this fun movie.
Cute. Yeah.
Have you guys not watched any Love Is Blind?
I haven't.
I've watched the season before last. Is that the one with Zaynab?
Oh, yes.
That's the
Yeah.
last season I saw, and
Yeah.
that was a whole thing because I was defending I forget his name because everyone was like oddly like on Zaynab's side, and I was like, no, she's mean. She's being mean to him. and,
Yeah.
Like all the clips, and then even at the end when they reveal the clip where you see them interact, where he's like, "Okay, play the clip," and it's like, yeah, no, he's very clearly being like, "Oh no, don't eat something because we're gonna eat later," and she's making it this whole thing, being like, "You're calling me fat." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. The fandom for Love Is Blind, I feel like, is a little they're like quick to take sides.
yeah," because I do agree with what most people land on, which is that they're both shitty.
They're both,
But
yeah,
he's
yeah.
shitty in a way that, like, I get, like, he's trying to be. It's that guy who thinks he's the guy who, like, is in your first level improv class and then gets like direction and realize he doesn't like it anymore.
You're right. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he thinks he's like in on the joke. He's not actually bringing malice. He's just dumb.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean that respectfully. Like just no emotional intelligence to know like
low emotional
yeah.
intelligence. I think that whole season, if I remember the season correctly, it's like
Yeah.
everyone was kind of low.
well because
emotional
it's like
intelligence.
yeah because it was one of those things where I truly do like get annoyed by these people who like are like the radical truth tellers where it's like I'm not being mean, I'm just saying
Saying
because
it like it
because
is.
the big
yeah.
thing
I
that
don't like
turned
that.
everyone on him was when I think she was asking like if he found someone attractive or if he was kind of like admitting that he saw someone and
right,
thought
yeah,
they
yeah.
were attractive, and then he realized how much it hurt her and was trying to like win it back, and it was just downhill from there because like past that point, Zainab was out for blood. I
Yeah.
genuinely think that was a shift that if you watch it back, she's just digging at him while he's just kind of trying to be like, oh, I kind of know I'm like,
Yeah.
in the doghouse.
Yeah. Hot takes from 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know.
Those of you watching Love is Blind.
Yeah, I'd say very like room temp take at this point.
You should watch the current season.
Oh, yeah,
It's
let's get
fun.
Mm.
It's I appreciate it's a show that's interesting because it does feel a little different every season because they put it in a new city
Yeah.
and you get a semblance of like what the vibe is in that city.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
like this season that they just released this week is DC,
Ooh.
and they get into like they touch on politics more than they do in other seasons. You know what I mean? Like there's one, I'm only like 3 episodes in this week, but one black girl was like, I voted a hardcore Trump guy for like 3 years. It's like they talk about stuff like that. Where I'm like, this is fascinating. There's
Voted
like more
or
than
dated?
one.
Oh, dated.
Dated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like
Oh.
more than one veteran. You know what I mean? There's like a few
Oh,
people where it's like
interesting. Yeah,
clearly you
that's-
voted for Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be an interesting season.
Yeah, it was so funny because years ago I went to do an improv fest in DC and I assumed it was like close. I think it was while Trump was in office, and I just assumed it would be very Trumpian. But like DC is like very left, so it is interesting that everyone that it seems like there's a large swath of them that are very Trumpy because those were people who were hard to find at least
Yeah.
when I was there.
Yeah. One guy, he was like, I did vote for Trump in 2016, and I realized I made a huge mistake and I voted for Biden in 2020. And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see people just
Unique.
admit that on TV.
Sure,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, back to Bake Off. We got 3 more contestants to talk about. Okay, Ilyene did Strawberry Fields Forever, told this adorable story. So she went strawberry picking with her husband before they had kids. They met when they were kids living in Spain. They've known each other since they were children. And when they were 18, he said, I've known since I was 15 that I was going to marry you. And this August, they're going to celebrate 10 years together. And that is adorable.
Ridiculous.
That's one of my favorite stories I heard in the whole episode. Unfortunately, neither Ilyene nor her husband were in the final bake. She put the little figures in. She goes, these look ugly. I'd rather not serve them. Took them out. So no puppets in her little puppet show. And then she fainted, which I gotta know your guys' take on the faint. I'm confused because I'm like, she's a midwife. She should be used to like stress.
Yeah.
If anyone in my life is I want to not faint, it's like airline pilots and midwife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
funny.
know. It's
Just different kind of
Yeah.
thing. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like higher stakes. She's like, I could deliver a baby, no problem. But
Right,
then,
right.
like,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to this, I
Yeah.
was kind of like, because we really kind of caught the full faint on
Yeah.
camera,
Yeah.
right?
The
Like
whole
that
thing.
was
Cameras
like
were
kind of
on.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, she went down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I guess maybe it's just maybe it's just lack of. They're doing a different thing from their routine, so it's like maybe you didn't drink enough water, or you forgot to
Sure.
like of course sleep. Probably no
Right,
sleeping
right,
is
yeah.
happening. So
Or
Who
a
knows?
gas leak.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
gas leak.
Yeah.
Or you're being poisoned by
Yeah,
breathing.
yeah, slowly.
Noel said, for all intents and purposes, I am Ilyene, and he brought up her bake, and on the walk up said, oh, this is horrible. I've had nightmares about this.
Oh,
I
man.
thought that was funny. That was charming.
Yeah.
They judged her bake. They said the design idea was good, but it's missing the puppets, good flavor. And Noel held up Ilyene's photo the whole time. Thought that was cute.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Nellie. Like on the other side of the coin, the saddest story possible. So she did the forest dance bake, and she made 5 stars that represent her 5 unborn children. And they gave her a nice lengthy edit where she talked about how, like, even if they're not born, you still carry them with you.
Mm.
And this was tough to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, she explicitly said, this is going to be very emotional for me. I want to cry. But then she shook her head, and it seemed like she was, like, choking up, but, like, held it back. So I think technically she didn't cry. But given the subject matter and the thrust of the situation, I'm going to give her a half point for
Thank
crying
you.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely was tearing up. I feel
Oh,
like
absolutely.
She, and it was like, I don't know, it was very beautiful.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was a positive bake.
Yeah.
Like her
Yeah.
whole bake was like, this forest represents all the trials and tribulations. But then, like, I found my Prince Charming. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like,
Yeah.
what a positive.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
was like coming in victorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An uplifting bake. So half point there for crying. And lastly, Sumaya did her Enchanted Garden. The other one who did good paint work. She did like that kind of watercolory background.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
gasped when I saw it. And
Yeah.
the wheels.
The
oh my
wheels, the whole thing
God.
rolled like a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Beautiful.
was beautiful.
Sumaya does get 1 point for helping a fellow baker because Hazel got in trouble with the royal icing, and Sumaya physically came over and did it with her. So to
Yeah.
me, that's what like the helping another
Yeah.
baker looks like.
Yeah, that felt like the quintessential version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So in line for Star Baker at the end, we have Christian, and Sumaya. In trouble, we've got Georgie, Iliane, and Hazel. Our Star Baker is Sumaya. She looks shocked. She thought it would be Christian, but yeah, so she gets the point there. And going home is Hazel, and she knew it. She was like, all my bakes went wrong this week.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
Just all the bakes went wrong the whole time on the show. They
Mhm.
were, so I feel, sorry, Hazel. See you
I
later.
felt like her strongest week would be Cake Week, and then we started with Cake Week, and she didn't do that good, and I was like, she's
Yeah.
not long for this world.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
So Hazel cried after the elimination. That's half point there. Mike also cried. He gets a half point. They all kind of made fun of him. They're
Oh,
like,
Mike,
is Mike
he's
crying?
always-
Mike always cries.
Yeah.
That was funny because I was like, oh, who has Mike? You have Mike? Or no?
I have Mike. Wait, who has
Yeah, I
Mike?
think you might.
But
have
regardless, I was like, well, he cries
You
every
have Mike.
time. That's
Yes, I
pretty
have
good,
Mike, yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
good points
'cause I
right
agree.
We
there.
get at least a half point every
Yeah.
week from Mike crying.
Got my boy Dylan, got Nelly, had Hazel, rest in peace,
Mhm.
and Iliane, who
Mhm.
also just,
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our points. As a reminder, you can find our rules on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. This week, technicals. First place, Mike with 1.5 points. Second place goes to John. He gets a point. Third place, Sumaya. She gets a half a point. In line for Star Baker, Christian and Sumaya. That's 1 point each. Our Star Baker is Sumaya. That's 2 points. Starting over again, getting a half point each. Hazel, Andy, and Dylan. They all started over again. Dylan dropped something. He lost a half point. Tears, crying. That's Andy, Nelly, Mike, and Hazel.
Wow.
4 people got a half
Cute,
point for
yeah.
crying this episode.
a lot of tears.
Christian got a handshake. That is 2 points. And Sumaya helped another baker. That is 1 point. Like we said, just so many more points this
There's a
season
lot
than
of
last season's.
opportunity. Yeah.
So this week, Iffy, you gain a 1.5 points.
Tight. Go ahead.
Ironically, your biggest point getter this week was Hazel, who is gone now.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'm really hoping that, you still have Iliane. I
Yeah.
think that she's going to be later. And Nelly.
And Nelly,
Yeah.
Nelly
Yeah.
is slowly, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you've known.
Yeah. I think those are going to be
And
your.
Dylan.
And Dylan.
Uh-huh.
Sierra, you gained 2 points this week. You got those from Andy and John. Not bad. Somehow, this week, I got 9.5
Wow.
points.
I think, yeah.
So I had
that's
2 out of the
Sumaya.
3 technical winners. Both of them were, I had both the people who were in line for Star Baker. I got a handshake, and I got someone helping another
Oh, yeah.
baker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I bulked it up this week.
Mhm. So where does that leave us?
Current scoreboard, Iffy, you're in last place with 4.5 points.
Uh-huh.
Sierra, you've got 9 points.
Okay.
She's got twice as many points as you, but as we've seen, you can get 4.5 points in one episode
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And I'm in the lead with 13 points, so I'm only 4
Ooh.
points ahead of you.
Sure.
It's still, we're all within striking distance of
Yeah.
each other.
It's good.
Next week is really going to determine
The
how fun
shape of
this
things,
season
yeah.
is going to be for me. Is just this how we're going
Oh,
to change things up?
sure.
Is it going to?
Yeah.
Because I think you're right. Like there could be a big Iliane Nelly week
Yeah.
where it's just like points on
Yeah.
points.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what is. I feel like this is about
Yeah.
having one strong
Mhm.
person almost. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you can be in line and get star, that's a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Anybody
sort
who
of
can do
no
that.
limit to how many.
Handshakes.
Yeah, someone
Mhm.
could, like, in one episode, like, cry, help someone, get a handshake, place every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for this week. Folks, again, if you liked our show, please head to MaximumFun.org/join. That is where you can become a member for as little as $5 a month. That would help us out a lot. Thank you so much. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop us a line on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League or send us an email, chef@MaximumFun.org. Thank you, those of us. Thank you to those of you who have already sent us some stuff. We love reading about your leagues, so please tag us if you're doing your own bake-off league. For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts, Sierra Kato and Iffy Wadiwe. We will be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.